Ever have that light bulb moment for a brilliant smart device, but then immediately think, where would I even start? Well, today we're going to demystify that entire process. We're going to explore a clear, step-by-step roadmap that puts the power of AI right at your fingertips. I mean, it can feel super daunting, right? Like you need to be a master of hardware, a software genius, and everything in between. But the thing is, with the right plan in place, turning that idea into a real, working gadget is way more achievable than you might think. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. We are going to walk through a powerful 7-phase roadmap that'll take you all the way from that first spark of an idea to a finished working device. We've broken this whole journey down into 3 main parts. First, we'll cover creating the blueprint. Then, we'll get into building a virtual version with an AI copilot. And finally, we'll actually bring the physical project to life. Okay, so the first 3 phases are all about preparation. And trust me, you cannot skip this part. Success in a project like this starts long before you ever touch a single component or write one line of code. So it all kicks off with just defining exactly what it is you want to build. Then you do a bit of detective work, researching similar projects to see what's out there. And finally, you pull all that knowledge together to create a solid plan. All right, let's break that down. First things first, you gotta write down in just plain English what your project does. Let's say you want to build a smart home IoT system. That's Internet of Things, by the way, that controls lights, fans, and doors. The key here is clarity. Be specific. Okay, next up, you put on your detective hat. You start scouring places like Google Images, GitHub, and YouTube for projects that are kind of like yours. You can even check out simulation platforms like Wokwi and Tinkercad. Now remember, the goal isn't to just copy something. It's about finding inspiration and seeing how other folks have solved similar problems. So in the planning phase, you're going to create something called a block diagram. Honestly, just think of it as the blueprint for your project. It's a simple, high-level drawing that shows all the main hardware pieces and software tools you'll need and how they all talk to each other. It makes sure you don't forget anything important. Now we're getting to the really cool part, the most modern piece of this whole puzzle. We're going to build and code our entire project in a completely risk-free digital world before we even think about touching any physical parts. Yeah, before you spend a single penny on components, you simulate the whole design. Tools like Wokwi or Tinkercad are fantastic for this. It's literally like a dress rehearsal for your circuit. You can test your ideas, find mistakes early, and even find code from other users, which will save you a ton of time and frustration. And this brings us to the secret sauce for the coding phase. See, instead of trying to write complex code from a blank screen, which is slow and just asking for bugs, we're going to intelligently modify code that we already know works. This is where the magic really kicks in. You take that working code you found during your research phase and you feed it to an AI like Claude or maybe ChatGPT. And along with that code, you also give it that original project description you wrote way back in phase 1. You're basically telling the AI, hey, look at this. I know this code works for a similar project. I want you to adapt this proven solution to fit my specific needs. Believe me, this is a much more effective way to work than just asking the AI to start from scratch. So the whole process becomes this simple, really powerful loop. You give Claude the inputs, it gives you back some modified code, you test that code in your simulator, and oops, you hit an error. You don't panic. You just copy that error message, paste it right back to Claude, and ask it to fix its own work. It's fantastic. Okay, so our code is tested and working in the simulation. It is finally time for the main event, turning our virtual design into a physical, tangible reality. You're going to need your core components, of course, and it all starts with the brain of the operation, the microcontroller. We're focusing on the ESP32. It's basically a tiny, low-cost computer that's just perfect for these kinds of projects because it has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built right in. Super handy. So you'll take that circuit diagram you perfected in your simulation, and you'll just physically connect all your components based on it. This means hooking up your sensors, which are like the project's eyes and ears, and your actuators, which are like its hands, things that spin a fan or unlock a door. So how do we get the code from the computer to the chip? Well, you'll use a free program called the Arduino IDE. Don't let the name Integrated Development Environment scare you. It's really just the software that lets you take that final code from your AI assistant and upload it directly onto the brain of your project, the ESP32. And this is the moment of truth. You power on the system, everything's connected, the code's uploaded, and you get to see your smart home device come to life right there in front of you. It's an awesome feeling. So after going through all that, what's the big takeaway? This 7-phase roadmap, it's more than just a set of instructions for one project. It's a powerful framework you can pretty much use to tackle any embedded systems project you can think of. Let's just hammer home the core ideas here. First, plan carefully before you do anything else. Second, don't reinvent the wheel. Build on the work that others have already done. Third, test virtually. It lets you fail cheaply and easily. And finally, use AI as your co-pilot to help you get there faster, not as an autopilot to do all the thinking for you. By following these simple, structured steps, you can seriously turn your most ambitious ideas into reality. This whole process just removes the guesswork and gives you a clear path forward. So I guess the only question left is, what are you going to build?